Facebook Live family. We're coming in like 10 seconds. So get ready. We're just waiting for the engineer, Jimmy, my friend. And I'll introduce you. Okay, coming in. All right. Hi, everybody. This is Maria from What's the Story with Maria. Welcome to our show. This is our 5th episode, and we are having so much fun. Oh, let me shut this off. That phone is blowing up. Okay, so tonight we have a couple things to tell you. First of all, I have 2 wonderful guests. One is my friend Michael LaRue right here behind me, proprietor and creator. I'm going to call him a creator because he has created this from the ground up, of Rue LaRue Cafe, located on Broadway between 189th and 190th. Is that correct?
No, it's between 187th and 189th.
Oh, okay. Thank you. 187th and 189th. So now I have to give you a little, just a little something that's going to go on. My other guest is Susan Campanero, who's one of my best buddies, and she is teaching tonight till 8:30 and then jumping on the A train and coming up to the Heights, and she will be here when she gets here. So the doorbell might ring, and that means my dog Rizzo is going to bark, and I'm going to let her in, and Michael's going to continue to talk. So that might happen, give you that disclaimer. Also, just to let you guys know, if you want to listen to our show live, what you want to do is get your TuneIn app, and then click onto Armed Radio, ARMED Radio, and you can listen to us live. This goes all across the country. It's 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday nights, which means 6 p.m. Pacific time. So we have a lot of friends in LA as well. And then on the Radio Garden worldwide, I think it goes as far as London. So that's really cool. And shout out to my friend Joe Simmons in London, who loves Rue LaRue Cafe, by the way. We met there last time he was in town. And so those are great things you can do. Also, your Spreaker app, Spreaker, that's in podcast, Spreaker.com, and you can listen to us in podcast. Just type in What's the Story with Maria. So let me just see who's checked in. Billy Goffey has checked in, and we're going to talk about Billy later. Matthew Lee Pelosi, Iris Nova Cooney, Janet Betta, Robin Riley, Lynn Culpepper. Hi, Lynn. Kimberly Hicks. Rory is all the way up in Canada. And we're going to start. Sid Mendez. Hi, Sid. Okay, our Cuban Latin lover, Sid. All right, so let's start with Michael. Michael and I met a few years ago. We all tend to run in kind of similar circles. When you're a creative person, you tend to know similar people. So Susie is actually one of the people we both know.
Yes.
So Michael, I just found this out about you while we were talking. I know you were a producer, but before you were a producer, you said you did what for a living?
Yeah, I was a trial attorney. I had this other life in Chicago. This is my second life, my creative life.
So Michael went from being a trial attorney to a producer.
Yes.
And tell us about that very special show that you produced that kind of changed your life, right?
Well, I was producing books at first, and then I was doing this pet book, and Barnes & Noble told me that I had to get some celebrities to be in the pet book or no one would buy it. And I didn't know any celebrities. So what I did is for 24 hours, everyone that I ran into, I asked, do you know any famous people with pets? And living here in Manhattan, you'd be amazed at the connections.
Oh, I believe. Yeah.
And within 24 hours, I had a list of like 30 people. And so I started making calls. And someone told me about this fundraiser that was happening at Studio 54 of all places. Okay. I mean, it's an event space now.
What year was this?
This would have been 1999.
Wow.
Or 2000.
All right, so that's 17 years ago.
Yeah, and so I went to old Studio 54, and there was Rue McClanahan from the Golden Girls.
We love her.
And I went up to her and I said, hi, I'm Michael LaRue. I'm from the Midwest. I'm doing this pet book. Do you have a pet? And she said, yeah, I've got a cat, Miss Bianca. And I said, can I come over? And she took her glasses off and she stared at me for a full minute. And she goes, yeah, you can come over. And then that's when it happened.
That's it. You took a risk. You said, can I come over? And what do you think she was, when she was staring at you, what do you think she was sizing you up? Like,
well, she was looking for something or not to see something, but whatever it was, I passed inspection.
Okay.
And 2 days later, I showed up. She told me, years later, I thought you were going to come with like a Polaroid camera and shoot a picture, but I showed up with 11 bags of equipment, a hair person, makeup person, assistants, and we had a photo shoot.
Oh,
That's Susie.
Keep telling us
So
about
I'll
the
tell you
photo
guys
shoot.
the story.
And I will grab Rizzo. Thank you. Thank you. Come here, Rizzo.
So I'm in Rue's house, and I always say this: when you walk through the door, you love, Blanche. You come through the door loving this character from the Golden Girls, but within minutes you fall in love with Rue because she was this amazing woman. She was, she wouldn't brag about her Hollywood life or all the famous people she knows. She would take you out into her backyard and show you her tomato plants. She would bake you a cake. She used to sew buttons on my shirts when they would come off. She was just a wonderful woman, a wonderful human being, and we became friends. And eventually I became her producer. I produced her one-woman show, musical adaptation of her memoir, My First Five Husbands and the Ones Who Got Away. Excellent book, too. I highly recommend it. And then when she got sick, I took care of her. And then when she passed away, all of her worldly possessions came under my responsibility. And so it's just this long process that led me to opening this cafe now. It's called Rue LaRue. And I've displayed her show business memorabilia from a long career. And I hope you come see it. And
Okay.
here's Susie.
Yeah, Susie has arrived. Thank you, Michael, for holding down the fort.
Sure.
So how cool is that story? So to me, that is a story about taking a risk. We talked about this on last week's show. What's the worst that can happen if you ask? Someone can say no. That's the worst that can happen. But if you don't ask, and I said there's a difference between being pushy and coming with an open heart. Sometimes people, and I've found in this town, can be very pushy about certain things. It's okay to set up boundaries. That's one thing I can tell you about living in this town that I didn't learn right away, that I know now. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm not comfortable with that. So that's fine. But you came with an open heart, and she knew that Mike, that's the magical. So Susie, my friend Susie Campanero, and her fiance, Mike Raymer, who we're going to have Mike on the show in a few weeks. He's an amazing photographer and filmmaker, so we'll have him on as well. Mike sat next to the magical bells, and the magical bells went off. I love that.
I like it too.
Okay, so to me, that's a story about taking risks and doing that. Now, Michael, I ran into you, how many years ago was it? Was it like 3 years ago?
No, it would have been about 2
Okay.
2 years ago.
In right down the street, there's a Dunkin' Donuts, and God knows I love my donuts.
Yeah.
Thank you. And, and did you know that if you're over 50 and you have an AARP card, if you buy a large drink, you get a free donut?
I did not know that.
Well, I know that because God knows I use that. Not since I go to Rue LaRue, then donuts mean nothing. But, so I was in Dunkin' Donuts, and I ran into Michael, and he said, I'm going to do this, I think I'm going to open this cafe. He had this,
idea.
It was an idea, and I'll never forget it. You were sitting there with your computer, and you had it open, and when you said it to me, I looked at the screen. It was, you hadn't started, couldn't see anything on the screen, but I said to myself, it was almost like you were opening a book as if we were in a movie, and I was about to take a trip into that computer and Michael's world. And, that was day one when I saw that. And then, like, Susie and I would run into each other, and she'd say, I ran into Michael LaRue, and that he's starting to do this, or guess what, or he got this. And I was like, really? Like, he's really doing it. Not that I doubted you would. It's just that I've talked about this before. I have a follow-through issue sometimes that I've been working on for years, and I'm getting better at it.
Lots of people have that.
And I just was so in awe of the fact that you said you would do it, and you did it. And Rue LaRue, when you walk in now, I know it's your baby, but from an outside point of view, of course I'm a Golden Girls fan. Who isn't? If you are not a Golden Girls fan, we don't trust you. If you watch an episode of Golden Girls and you do not laugh your tail off, something is wrong with you. And I forgot how much fun it was until I went back in and I ordered I ordered 3 key lime pies because of course I had to take 2 to go.
Florida.
Oh, so good. This key lime pie is so good. It's called Miami key lime pie, right?
Yeah, well, we call it Golden Girls key lime pie, but it's a classic Miami recipe. Key lime, the islands down there, that's where it came out of. No one can make it right here in the north, though. And this lady came in and she said, I make real key lime pie. And I doubted her, and she brought one in, and I'm a believer.
Well, I am too, because it was so good.
Yeah. But I also, one of the things that came into my possession when Rue passed away was her recipe books. And like many of us, she exchanged recipes with people she worked with. Sometimes I'll open one of her scripts from the Golden Girls, and on the inside cover it'll say like B's fish recipe. And during the table read, they'll be exchanging recipes about what they had for dinner last night. So we're using a lot of her recipes at the cafe.
Now, let me ask you about this book. Was it like did it look like a scrapbook? Did it look like an actual, was it typed? Was it handwritten?
She's got a bunch of different recipes, and one of them's a big book that has her cards in it, and then she has some actual file. You remember how we used to have those little file cards with the index cards?
Yes, of course.
She's got a bunch of those too. And yeah, they're written in her hand, and it'll say like Adrienne Barbeau's chocolate chip cookies or Estelle Getty's angel food cake, and it'll be written on there.
So that's what they used to do. They would exchange recipes.
Absolutely.
What nationality was Rue? What was her background?
Well, she was Scottish, but she didn't find that out for a long time. She thought she was Irish, McClanahan, but no, it turns out she's Scottish.
That happens quite a bit, by the way. I have a lot of friends like that. They were like, actually, I'm Scottish too. Okay, so that's really cool. And, that whole recipe writing thing, that's that generation. How old would Rue have been if she was alive today?
Well, let's see. She died when she was 76, and she's been dead for 7 years now, so she would have been 83.
83. So that's like Susie, our parents' age, right? And I know that because next week's show, next week is my mom's birthday. So I'm doing a show dedicated to my mom, and I'm going to have some friends on. Judy Mace is coming on, and Catherine Salvio, and we're going to talk about, it's going to be a mom show.
Here's a picture of Rue and her mom.
Let's show it.
I found this. That's Rue and her mother when she was a little girl. But Rue saved everything. Here's the watch that her mother is wearing in this picture. You can see it right there on her wrist, and here it is. Rue was known as a collector, but only because she had enough closets to hide all of her stuff in. She was actually a hoarder.
I think, listen, I have to jump in here now. I think that's me. I think that I fall under, because I've always called myself a collector. And when you came in, because it's the first time you've been here, you notice I collect little...
Oh, yeah, wonderful.
Oh, thank you. A lot of people don't see it as wonderful.
Oh, no, I love the baseball bobbleheads.
Thank you. And you're from Chicago. We talked about this. She's a
miracles.
We and I was born and raised in Boston, so we know miracles.
Yeah, indeed.
What do we have in common? Also, Theo Epstein. He was the manager when both teams won. So I just love all this stuff. Collector. I call myself a collector, but a lot of people say, no, Maria, actually, you're a hoarder. But I try. I'm trying to get rid of a couple things here and there. I gave away a lot of stuff years ago. Oh, someone's out there.
I knew I was in trouble when I found Rue's prom dress from 1949 in her backyard. It was in this plastic storage container in one of those airtight bags, and I punctured it because I didn't know what it was, and it started growing. No. And it kept growing every hour about 6 inches, and by the end of the day, it was 6 feet across, and it's her prom dress.
And she was tiny, right?
She was tiny. She was 5'3".
What? Well, that's like Judy Garland, like very small, right? When I was at your restaurant, that's one of the things that just really took my breath away. You have some of these costumes of hers,
yes,
right?
Yes.
You have her Emmy.
Yeah, her Emmy Award. I have costumes from the show. Rue was a bit of a clothes horse, and one of the things she did is she always built it into her contracts that she got to keep her costumes.
Really?
She was the only one of the Golden Girls who did that. So when she passed away, she had 220 costumes from the show. Wow. And so I'm just displaying some of them. I have a whole warehouse out in Corona, Queens.
Oh, you do? So you change them?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to rotate things all the time. I mean, there's just unlimited things to choose from. I found notes that she passed to her girlfriends in the 1930s in grade school. She saved them. Of course, they're all about boys.
That's what's so great about being a hoarder. You hold on to everything. So it was about boys back then.
Even then, yeah.
So would you say that she was close to the Blanche character?
Well, she insisted she was nothing like the character Blanche. She used to say that. We would all roll our eyes. We're like, seriously? She had 6 husbands. And she
have those pictures in your restaurant, right?
Yeah, and she was on her way to number 7 when she passed away. She had met this wonderful man, and they were in love, and they were going to get married. And I said, Rue, why don't you just stay friends? Like, what's the point at this stage of the game? And she was like a teenage girl. She said, we're in love, and we're going to get married. And she said, everyone knows 7 is a lucky number.
Oh, my God. How funny. When's her birthday?
February 21st.
So she is on the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think the 22nd turns into Pisces. And so she's, That is, I'll tell you, because Aquarians, I wish Lynn Portis was here. Lynn Portis knows all about this stuff. But Aquarians are very intense people. My dad's an Aquarius. Very intense, super duper smart. And Pisces, yeah, they're really intelligent. They read a lot. They can do crossword puzzles.
Indeed.
They are wordsmith. And Pisces are like kind of, I don't know. So that is something that to be born on that day is this kind of like have a lot of intelligence going on, and yet you could just take a break that day.
Oh yeah, she's
so
very
does
good at
that describe her?
Indeed, and you know who else is super intelligent that people, because of the character she played, they don't realize it is Betty White. And
Oh, I believe it.
she's
I read her
95
book.
years old right now. She's sharp as a tack. I was at her house in October, and I looked around, and on every surface, there's crossword puzzles, word games, jumbles. She does them all day long. And that's why she's still...
Yeah, I was going to say, that's my dad does that too. That's one of the things that they say that keeps your brain from sadly, a lot of, like Glenn Campbell, we just lost Glenn Campbell, and that was Alzheimer's. And there's a lot of, as you get older, you worry about that. But they say one of the things that prevents that or keeps your mind going, those fibers going, is word puzzles. Anything reading, but it's a lot of that, it's words. Yeah. So that's very interesting.
She's kept her wit too. Sitting next to Betty on an end table was a pink marble picture frame. And because I have all of Rue's possessions, I know Rue has the exact same picture frame. So there was a picture of Alan Ludden in it. That was Betty White's husband.
So handsome. He's very handsome. Of course, one of my favorite shows.
Yeah. And so I go to Betty, I said, oh my gosh, Rue has that same picture frame. And without missing a beat, she said, she'd better not have a picture of my husband in it. So she's still very witty.
Oh, I love it. She's fantastic. And I love those Snickers commercials, remember?
Oh,
where she was getting tackled. That was so funny.
But they had offered that to Rue. Rue had already had a stroke by that point, but I was able to keep it out of the press. No one knew. And they called and offered her the commercial, and it was Snickers for the Super Bowl.
Right.
And I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, they were paying a fortune for one day's work. It was $250,000. And so I went into the rehab where Rue was, and she was with the speech therapist at the time. She had suffered a stroke. She was having some problems talking, and I said to the speech therapist, can you teach her how to say Snickers satisfies? And Rue started roaring. She said, how much are they offering? She knew it was a commercial deal.
That's really
she passed on it, and they offered it to Betty. And that's
that's amazing. I mean, for me, I love the Golden Girls. When I was at your restaurant, I just forgot the timing of that comedy. The writing is wonderful, but the delivery of those four women is so, there's no way. I dare you to go into Rue La Rue Cafe, eat your dessert, of course. I love the biscuits with the strawberry butter. To die.
The strawberry butter's killer.
To die, and get one to eat and one to go. That's what I do. And what you get to watch it, Golden Girls. I dare you not to laugh. I dare you. There's no way.
Yeah.
I watch all walks of life come in there, little guys all the way. And, our neighborhood is so diverse. It's so beautiful. Indeed. What would you say your clientele consists of mainly, though?
We're getting tourists from all over the world. The Walt Disney Picture Company owns the Golden Girls, and they told me that it's syndicated in 50 countries around. I'm a smart guy. I don't think I could even name 50 countries. And they said it's all over the world, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, it's playing. And they stopped production 25 years ago. So we're getting people from all over. I had a 52-year-old heterosexual Jamaican man come in the other day. I love the Golden Girls. And I'm like, wow, like they really cut across every demographic.
Wow.
And so we play it the whole time we're open, and people sit there, and organically, every 23 minutes when the theme song plays, sometimes the whole room bursts into song and sings along.
Isn't that amazing? Beautiful that something like that still brings people together? The show that I remember from my childhood, there were two other shows that to me were of that caliber. I Love Lucy. Yeah. It's timeless. You never get tired of it. And no matter how many generations come up, people watch that. Little kids could watch it now and still laugh at her antics, right? And I loved Mary Tyler Moore and Rhoda. Yeah. Those were my girls.
Awesome. I asked the girls, I never got to ask Estelle Getty this question, but I did ask Rue and Betty White and Bea Arthur what they credited the success with. Why all these years later is it still playing? And all three of them said the exact same thing. They credited the writers. They said the writing. And I had the pleasure of being able to say to all three of them, I think you had something to do with it too.
Yeah. Writing is great. And who were the writers? Were they men or women?
A mix. And that some of them went on to have huge careers. You know, the guy who created Desperate Housewives.
Oh, really?
He was one of. Oh, not Desperate Housewives. What's that one where they're all on the cul-de-sac? Remember?
Yeah, I think it is Desperate
Is that Desperate
Housewives.
Housewives? Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
with the apple as the.
yeah, and
Yeah,
of course they all
well,
say Sex in the City is really just another version of the Golden Girls later in time. And people even draw connections. Like the Blanche character would be the Samantha character.
Right.
The smart one would be the Dorothy character.
I got to tell you, I love Dorothy.
Yeah.
Like I think everybody has their favorite. Rue, I mean, you can laugh at every single line she ever Blanche had.
Estelle had the best lines, though. The writing for the Estelle Getty character. Sophia,
yeah, well, she had the punch. She had the 1-2 punch at the end. No matter what, she was going to get that 1-2 punch in, and she was the little one.
But you identify with Dorothy?
I identify with Dorothy. I'm somewhere between Dorothy and Sophia. And I think more Dorothy as I get older because I've turned into this kind of like, nope, we have to follow rules type of person.
We all have all characters, though. We all have all four of them in us, and they sometimes are, one's more powerful than another. But people come in all the time, and they're like, they say who they are, like which character they identify with. Or they'll say, my friends always say I'm a X. And I love when they come in and say, my friends all say I'm a Blanche, because I'm able to say, your friends are calling you a whore, right?
Do they laugh?
Yeah, of course.
Love it.
Of course, no, it's a great crowd that comes in.
So the Jamaican straight man, I love that.
Yeah.
Was and what was the and when I was in there were a lot of like women my age with maybe their daughters. I saw a lot of that, which was so sweet.
Generations watching.
Yes, and a lot of gay men, of course.
Yeah, gay
tables
men.
of gay men.
But there's a bunch of closeted straight guys because of their girlfriends who watch it every night, or their wives, or whoever.
Right.
And they love it too.
It's a great show. You can't go wrong. So, okay, we're going to bring in our friend Susie now as well. Susie Campanero, one of my best friends. So if you need water, Susie, I got water over there. So let me see. Let's get Susie in the shot. And handsome Mike is back there. Hi, Mike. Mike Raymer. We're going to have Mike Raymer on another show. All right, so Susie and Michael LaRue know each other. Susie, get in. Make sure you're in the shot so we can see you. Okay. So, hi, everybody. This is Susan Campanero.
Hi.
Campanero in Italian means bell ringer.
Ding, ding.
That's it. So Susie can ring them bells. I'll tell you that much.
So much of what you were talking about, like I identify with, because today I was teaching improv at Dance Molinari, and I had this 8-year-old girl, Violet, and she watches I Love Lucy.
Wow.
Really?
And she reads an I Love Lucy book, and she sings Marilyn Monroe songs. Wow. So we did, and she plays with dolls. So we had the other girls be the dolls, and she put diamonds on them as she sang, "Diamonds are a girl's best friend."
How cool.
And so I was talking to Michael, my fiance, and I was saying, I can't believe how brilliant this kid is. And she's just like a whip.
So her parents must show her that stuff.
Yeah, that's what Michael was saying.
Are they in entertainment, her parents?
Well, the kids at Dance Molinari are all really like professional kids.
Right.
So yes.
And Susie and I have both been teaching you've been teaching a lot longer than me, I think. I started in the 90s, and then I 92 to 97, I think I taught junior high. And then, but I would sub for you down in Tribeca. I got to tell you this story. So
I think you really started first because Otto Pero was one of your students.
Otto Pero, right? Who's
she's
now famous.
Yeah, she's famous
actress,
and she studies with my master teacher, who I work for at the Susan Batson Studio. I teach improv there as well.
Right. So shout out to Otto Pero.
And I just looked at her on the wall.
Slave,
yeah.
Pariah, amazing movie, and she's gorgeous.
She was in the movie about the stockbrokers that ripped everybody out. What was that called?
Big Short.
Big Short. She's in that. She plays the secretary of those guys.
Yeah, so she's amazing. So she was my student in the 90s.
Wow.
Isn't that something? And then Susie ran into her years later.
And I saw her on a plane one day. I was like, does everybody on this plane know that there's the greatest actress in the world here on this plane?
I don't know. She's always running around. She's really busy. But maybe we can get her on. That would be amazing. So, but this, I got to tell the story. So I would sub for Susie. Susie would say, listen, I just need you to sub, go down. It's a tap class, and I'd say, but I don't teach tap. She's like, don't worry, they know they know their routines, and she would write like the shuffle
step,
right.
shuffle
And then
back,
she would write,
shuffle step.
She would write all this stuff. I would get there. Susie was like She would have them. She had a whistle.
You gotta have a whistle.
That's it. She would have them doing anything she said. I would get there, and of course, they would walk all over me. And all they would say is, "Where's Miss Susie? Where's Miss Susie? Where's Miss? When's Miss Susie coming back?" Right? And I was trying to be their best friend. Didn't work. They missed Miss Susie and her whistle.
Can't be friends.
But you can get these kids to do amazing things.
Well, you got your kids to do all these original musicals back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
So I think really you might have been teaching first.
I might have been teaching.
And then we did our children's theater.
Right.
With Brad and Merton.
Brad
and we
Merton.
would wake up. I would be the
boy, we've done a lot.
Driver assistant. I would have the directions from. We didn't have cell phones.
Right.
So we had to like go online and what is it called? Stop Hop or
God, I don't know.
It was back in the day when you had to print out the directions.
So that's right. We have
and I
done
would be
so
like,
many
go
things together.
left.
We started.
Go right.
Well, I mean, you have to come on the show a few times for different reasons,
right?
Because we could go on for years about our friendship. But so we were doing this children's theater show. We had to go out to the schools. That's right. And so you and I would drive out and I'd say, Susie, it was a MapQuest. So you would look at the directions.
Not on a phone.
No, we didn't have any.
Nobody talking to you.
We didn't have cell phones.
And
there was no GPS.
No. Just to get you lost, remember?
Oh, absolutely.
And we would work all night. We'd work at the duplex till 4. We'd say, all right, I'll see you in 2 hours.
Oh, my God.
Or something.
Sometimes we wouldn't sleep at all. Or one of us would sleep while the other one drove. And then I'd say, okay, I'll stay awake and you sleep on the way out. And then on the way back, the other one would sleep. And the other one would drive.
Or we would be wired out.
Creative life. You have to suffer.
Thank you for bringing us back to that. So Michael and I were talking about the mission for me of this show is to, number one, always showcase my friends and their talents because I love my friends. I don't hang around with anybody I don't like. And I have
as no one should.
Right. Thank you.
Life's too short.
That life's too short.
Right.
Thank you for being a friend.
If it doesn't bring you joy.
It does, right? Yeah. And that's the theme song there from the Golden Girls. And we're going to get to your Golden Girl because you had a Golden Girl show.
I was Sophie, in the original Thank You for Being a Friend, the musical, written by Nick Brennan and Luke. His last name is escaping me. But he was my DJ when I had the show at Therapy.
Oh, right.
Luke Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, they wrote the musical, Thank You for Being a Friend, and they asked me to be the original Sophie.
You were really funny, too.
Oh, God. Picture this.
Yeah.
1939, Sicily. My family was driven from their home because of a dust bowl, and the agricultural industry came and wiped out all of the village, and we headed west in search of a decent home, a good wage, and a sausage and pepper sandwich that doesn't give you heartburn.
That's good, Susie. And you still remember your lines.
Well, we just had a showing in December.
Wow.
No, December into January, we were at the cutting room.
Are those the ones that came into the cafe?
Yes, they came in.
And you couldn't make it.
I couldn't make it
because they brought a Sophia sock puppet in her place.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 3 of them came in and they had a Sophia sock puppet. It was great.
Oh, okay. Let me check. Jimmy, are you there? Do we need to go to commercial?
Hi, Jimmy.
I have Jimmy in my ear. Okay, so why don't we do this? We're going to take a commercial. Jimmy's going to tell us when we come back in. We're going to stay with you guys on Facebook Live, and we'll be right back on the radio. Thanks, Jimmy.
Live. Hi, we're live.
So we're going to stay on Facebook. Okay, they'll be back. They're going to. So we want to thank our sponsor. We have some sponsors. 3.5 minutes, we're coming back. But in the meantime,
I love it that you have sponsors. Who is it?
I don't know. Once we listen to the podcast, you'll hear the sponsors.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So this, well, let's talk. I love to do this once we're on commercial. I like to see who we have coming in. So Bill Goffey, we're going to be talking about your delicious. Well, Bill Goffey made me a pesto from spinach and was it kale this week? Spinach and kale, I think. And we're going to have that on pasta. Michael, I'm giving you a doggy bag because you have to get up at the crack of dawn.
I do.
All right. So Elvira Federico joined, yay, from Boston. And Robin Riley, and she wrote 6 husbands, way to go. That's hysterical. Karen Cellini has joined us. Michael Leon Woolley. Michael, he's so funny. You know Michael is. He called me today about something we were talking. And he said, I booked him for the show. He's doing, I think, hope I get this right, Michael, the 17th of October. Anyway, it's the second
You're
week.
coming to New York?
Yes, and he's going to do the show. He said, make sure you talk about it. So
come to the cafe too.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
And eat.
We are going to go to Michael LaRue's cafe, Rue LaRue Cafe, and we are going to have Michael on the show. Michael, you'll have to tell me what you want to eat that night too, because one of the things I do with my guests is I cook for them. So we feature some kind of food. Last week we had delicious cheeses. Tonight we're having our pasta pesto. And
Nice.
so you'll have to tell me what you want to eat, because I love to cook.
I'm hungry already.
So we're going to be doing that. And so remember, we are right now live on the TuneIn app on Armed Radio. You can also listen on your computer, and it's in syndication as well across the country. So that's happening right now. If you're listening, hello and thank you. Facebook Livers, we're going to try to do this every single Tuesday. We're going to try to Facebook Live. Let us know. Also, if there's stuff, my Facebook page is open now. It's public. Let me know if there's certain things that people you want to hear about, or certain things you want us to talk about, or a shout out or anything like that. I do want to give a shout out to my friend Melissa Driscoll, because Melissa is so cute. She works for Clinique, and she came by this week. Yes.
I use M lotion every day.
Melissa's my kitten. Hi, Melissa.
Missy, we call her Missy.
It works too. I'm 67.
What?
No.
No, I'm going to say, wow, that's
Well,
not
Lavinia's 63.
oh my God, we've got to talk about it. But I love Clinique, and so she brought a couple of Clinique products by. Thank you so much, Melissa. We love you. She was so cute. So we want to shout out to her. A shout out to Bill Goffey, who made the pesto, and Billy makes amazing.
Can't wait to taste it.
It's so good. Billy makes amazing biscotti. The only person I know that ever made biscotti like this was my mother. We'll talk about that next week. So, Billy, maybe you can make some biscotti for next week's show. That would be really cool. My mom, it was her thing. She used to make it, and she used to make it for my therapist. I mean, just like anybody, she'd just say, here, when I'd go home to Boston, she'd make biscotti.
And what a zuppa de pesce she made for us.
Zuppa de pesce.
That time we went.
All right, 20 seconds, we're coming in. We'll talk
neighbor.
about that. 20 seconds, we're
gosh.
coming back in with What's the Story with Maria. So, there's Billy Goffey. Lynn Portis, yes, we need your astrological help. So, Lynn Portis is our friend as well. She's going to be back on the show.
Michael?
There he is. So, that's coming in. We're coming in. Okay. Hi, everybody. We are back with What's the Story with Maria. My guests tonight are Michael LaRue of Rue LaRue Cafe on 187th, between 187th and 189th in Broadway. And the one train goes right there.
One train and the A train. You can take the A to 181st or the 1 to 191st.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I usually walk. It's a great walk too. If you want to get anywhere you are, get off at a stop before it or after it and walk.
Agree.
It's beautiful neighborhood.
It's beautiful
The
neighborhood.
Cloisters is right there. Fort Tryon.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And this is a part of New York that a lot of people don't know about, right?
We're about to go through a renaissance here, though. We're on the verge.
Well, you started it.
No, I didn't. Other people did. I'm just grabbing a hold.
Yeah, well,
You're a
up
smart
there,
man.
I think that particular, right where you are, I think you started that.
Yeah.
There are other parts of the Heights that, like 181, 187, that was happening.
Dykeman way up there.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that area for some
A
reason.
lot's happening there.
A lot is
The
happening.
sidewalks are huge. It's very airy. It's like a whole different New
It's a whole
York.
Well, that's what happened.
It's
I was
large.
storing his artwork in that building. It's a storage building.
Oh,
It's
wow.
called Sophia Storage,
No.
too.
Wow.
Just coincidence.
That's crazy.
But I
I
was
don't
storing
believe in
artwork,
coincidence,
and I
too.
walked out, and I would walk out, and I'd see the space, and I thought, that should be a cafe. And about 2 years ago, I was walking out, and I said that, and this little voice right here, it was Ruth. She said, do it. And here we are.
Wow.
And it was just empty?
Yeah. Well, no, there was I've been here 17 years in this neighborhood. There were a lot of businesses, but at the time it was empty. And when I approached the landlord, he said, no, he goes, a restaurant would never work here.
Wow.
And he rented it to a pet store, and then they failed, and he gave me a chance.
But, okay, so see, this is where I believe in divine intervention anyway. And the fact that it was a pet store before it was Rue LaRue, the fact that you met Rue
Doing a pet
pet book.
And we both loved it.
Okay,
We were
see,
crazy about it.
no coincidences whatsoever. We all believe in that stuff, and
Right.
that we're connected.
When Rue passed away, she had just put in an offer on some land down in Texas, and she was going to put this animal preserve there for animals that couldn't be adopted. They were the unadoptable pets.
Wow.
And her son and I have decided we're partners in this venture, and we've decided that the money that the cafe raises, we're going to see this dream through. We're going to create an animal.
Okay, I saw that on a somewhere in the neighborhood. Did you do a fundraiser?
Oh, we had a cat
For
adoption.
cat adoption. Okay. Oh, so cool. Do you see the wonderful things that can come out of a connection? Asking someone, what's the worst that can happen? Making connection with another human being, loving another human being, leaving your heart open. All these great, and the fact that she trusted you. See, that to me, your story is about trust. She trusted you, Michael.
Well, she did trust me, and I loved her. But one of the things that I found in the creative world is that you also need cold, hard cash.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people, that seems to slow them down. Like, I don't have the money. I can't do this. I have this great dream, this great idea, but I have no cash.
Right.
I needed cash to do that pet book. I had about $7 in my checking account the day I decided to do it. And one of the things I did is I asked for it. Everyone I ran into, I pitched my idea. People on the A train, people on the bus, people on Dunkin' Donuts.
Wow.
I would pitch to them about what I was doing. And I remember one day we were in this man's office. He was going to be one of the subjects in the book. And we had to pay the printer the next day. We needed $25,000. And I said to this man, I said, we're doing this pet book for charity. And he goes, is there anything I could do to help? And I said, well, I need $25,000. And he got his checkbook out and wrote a check.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
The money will show up. If you have a good idea, if you're passionate about it, and if you're doing the right thing, the money will show up, but you have to ask for it.
You have to ask for it. Thank you. Boy, I need to hear that. Right, Susie? So Nancy Chapman says hello. That's her little message to us. Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
Of course, we love Nancy. Allison Finkel. Hi, Allison Finkel. We played softball together. Susie, I think you played with Allison,
Hi,
too.
Allison.
Susie and I have done everything together.
We did
played
the gamut of New
softball.
York.
We played in a women's league for years and years.
I still have scars.
You were so. Susie was the leadoff hitter. I was the captain of the team. I was a pitcher. Susie was the catcher, and she was the leadoff hitter. I would put her number one in the roster because she could always get on base.
Right on.
And I wanted to be the catcher so that I would get my squats in. But I was scared. I was scared of the ball. I was like, "Wait, don't hit me in the face!" And then my crazy friend, she slid right into my leg.
You know what, though, I remember, which was so funny, was that because you are such a flirt and you're so funny, and you would flirt with the umpires. I mean,
yeah, we'd win the game that way.
We would win the game because she would distract them. And they would say, okay, hold on, got to focus. But she would joke with them.
And if I happened to catch it, I'd be like, I got it. It's a miracle. I was like insane.
Oh, my God. And then when Susie would hit the ball, which was every time, because Susie's an amazing tennis player.
Yeah, I can hit the ball.
I don't know if a lot of you know that. Susie is like, you almost could have gone pro, right?
Oh, God.
No, I think
you need money for.
Well,
I don't care what they say. And where I'm from, Palm Beach, you have to have money to go pro.
Right,
but I played
really
from
good
7
competitively,
till
right?
High school, yeah.
So Susie is an amazing tennis player. So that's the girl you want as a leadoff hitter in softball. She can hit everything.
I'm shocked.
And she can run. Susie's
I
a
never
runner.
expect this.
Now as the eyes are going, I don't know all these.
But the
know
funny
he was
thing
a
is she would
performer.
also yell while she was running like,
Oh, and then I pulled the hamstring. I'll never forget that. I'm running so
but
fast.
you made it to first base.
You gotta stretch.
That's it.
You gotta stretch. Or it's like, oh.
Susie and I also have written 3 comedy shows together.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that at another time when we have more time. We were 5 different characters each, and what we would do was we would improv. We would say, okay, my character is Sonny. Sonny Italy was one of my characters, an Italian guy that talked like this, right?
And I was Conchetta.
She was Conchetta,
Oh,
the
I've
bakery
seen
girl.
that.
The
I've seen
bakery
that.
girl.
Okay,
Yeah,
so what we
great.
would do
And I
is
was in love with them.
Susie was amazing. We were very good creatively, I think, because we're good at different things. We're both open to improv. Improv, you have to say yes, and we're both like, we trust the process. But what we would do is get a tape recorder, back then when there were tape recorders, actual tapes, and we would just give each other a situation, like, okay, I'm Sonny, you're the bakery girl, this is our situation.
There you go, wing it.
And that's it.
And we talk
for like 20 minutes.
And then I would go home and put it on my little
Transcribe it.
word processor and transcribe it, and then we would get
I could
together
never
again.
do that. That's something I could never do. I would not have the patience.
Yeah, I have that
for that.
patience.
She
She'd
had that
stop, start, rewind, and I'd put it all down, and then we'd get together, we'd edit. And, the greatest thing we ever did was with Chris DePiero when we just shot and we went on this food frenzy.
Okay, we have to talk about this for a second. So Chris DePiero was one of our great friends. He was the first guest on my show number 1. He and Susie
Chris.
Davis. So Chris DiPiero is he's a filmmaker, but he also is our friend. And so if we ever wanted to do anything, we'd call Chris and be like, yeah, I'll shoot you guys. Whatever.
He came to my play last week. Like, he's the greatest. There he was. I was like, oh my God, there
he's
you are.
so supportive.
He's so good.
He shot us at 5 different locations, but we just improv'd it, not one cut.
Wow.
Improv'd it. It was called Just Eat With Me.
And just talk to each other.
It's a short film. If you go on YouTube and you type in Susan Campanero, Campanaro, Susan Campanero, and Maria Gentile, Gentile, will pop up. And the film is called Just Eat With Me. And it's based on truth. A couple years ago, maybe like 20 years ago, I'm always on some kind of crazy diet. I was on this diet, not anymore so much, but I was on this crazy diet where I would like starve myself all day, and then I could eat anything I wanted for 1 hour.
God.
So we went on a food frenzy for 1 hour.
So I used to take Susie with me. I'd be like, Susie, come on. She'd be like, where we go? I'd just eat with me. And I would just run from one place to another. So we recreated this in a film, and it's really funny.
And then we just talked about stuff.
Yeah.
But what I think, because I just watched it, I played it for my Michael, and what was funny was that Maria would get mad at me. Just as the character, we were sort of like foils for each other. She would get mad because I like started to like say like, Maria, I don't know if
You should need that.
Like,
Susie's always in good shape. You've always been in good shape.
Back then I was in good shape. Oh God.
Well, the thing about you is though, but she doesn't like. If you put something in front of Susie, she'll eat it. She's not fussy. But you are a healthy person, right?
Yeah, I always exercise. I mean, I give myself my body like today. I tap danced and I did some weights.
And you and Mike always ride bikes.
Yeah, ride the bikes.
Riding the bikes.
The bike is on 39th Street.
See?
Right now.
Right now.
So that A train.
That's okay. You can jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have Mike on in a few weeks. We have to. He's an amazing photographer. I'm not just saying that. I do not waste words. And his photography is brilliant.
And shout out for the show Instinct that he's now prop and set design on a crew for Instinct. God bless. And also, thank you to Kevin Alexander for opening those doors for him.
Yeah, we have
one of our directors,
really great friends. So
yeah, we have the best friends. That really
it
came out from Tony and Tina's wedding.
Yeah,
that was a great
because
show.
there's nothing like a family atmosphere that you just get to know each other. And the greatest thing is that I was fortunate enough to only be in companies of that show that were like,
you did a lot of different companies.
In love with each other.
You know what?
I never was in a negative company.
I have to tell this story because one of the times Susie went with the show to Japan, right? Twice.
Yeah.
Do you know Susie's famous in Japan?
And because I have a big nose, and I there was these big posters of me and Scotty Balecki.
Like how big? Like at the side of a building.
Like the side of a building.
Right.
Like long ways, up a colander.
So I would say to people,
and they would point at my nose.
Japan, but
the
it's
nose, because I have this Roman nose.
They would point to the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. We all kind of have that. Nose. Are you Italian, Michael?
French.
Oh, that's the LaRue, of course. So yeah, Susie's famous in Japan. So you were Tina in that company, and were you on a bunch of crazy Japanese game shows?
Oh yeah, Japanese. No, this is Japanese TV. Scotty and I came as Tony and Tina, and then the TV show would be us going, "Sugoi, kawaii, happy, genki desu ka? Are you happy? Are you happy?" And we would just be like, "Hi." And then all of a sudden there'd be this girl singing, and then there'd be these crazy like puppets, and then all of a sudden there'd be like someone on horseback, and then we'd be like, with the TV show.
Yeah,
wow.
I've seen it before. They're great.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's random.
You're like,
They say that the craziest game shows in the world happen in Finland. I just read this. Finland is the #1 craziest game shows, and then I think Japan is the second craziest. So they just have these outrageous situations.
Yeah.
So you were on. So Susie's famous in Japan. All right, so let me see. We have about 15 minutes left to our show. I want to showcase our food because this is the part of the show called "Go ahead, keep eating."
Go ahead.
Keep eating. So let me see, Michael, can you reach that bowl for me since you have those nice long arms? All right, so this is our pasta pesto. Now, I put a little pepper in there, Billy, to give it a little color. My friend Bill Goffey, he's a piano player. He plays, he says he doesn't play the accordion, but I know he does. He plays the bass. He plays drums. He plays guitar. He's a great guy. And he also is an amazing chef. So he made this pesto, fresh pesto, that he grinded and created with the pinoli nuts and the kale and the spinach and garlic and all that. And I made it with a little farfalle, which are the Americans would call them the bow ties. The Italians call them farfalle, which means butterfly. So I did that, and I added, because you said you love butter.
Butter.
Michael said I texted him, I'm like, you're not a vegetarian, are you? He's like, no, I love butter. I love all things with butter. So I put a tiny bit of butter in there to give it a little butter pop. And then I put some red peppers for color. So Billy Gombe,
presentation is everything.
If you want somebody to come to your house, let's say you're having a party, right? And you don't want to cook, but you want to have your friends over. You want to get a hold of Bill Goffi, Goffi. He will come to your house. He makes the most amazing pizzas. He really does. He came to one of my parties, and he just was in the kitchen making pizzas, like these beautiful, individual, gorgeous pizzas. And then he he makes desserts. These are just incredible cakes. He can cook anything. So maybe you are thinking of having a party, but you don't want to cook, even if it's a small party. Get a hold of Bill Goffi, Bill, Billgoffi. He is on my Facebook page, and hire him to come to your house and cook. So let us check in with people. Let me see. John Fitzgerald. Look at this. He says we have to go to that place, Robin Riley, for a belated birthday celebration. Please go to Rue LaRue. Tell Michael LaRue that you saw him on What's the Story with Maria. John Sabino joined. My cousin from Boston. I love my cousins from Boston. They're the nicest people. Okay, Kathy Kachi Pritchett. Oh my God! So
my
Kathy,
girl crush.
We call her Kachi. Kachi.
Hi, Kachi.
Well, your girl crush. That's
Yes.
right. I don't know if you knew about this, Michael, but yeah, you don't care. But straight guys don't care about that stuff. So Kachi was the captain of the other team that we played. One of the other teams that we played, and she is a twin. Remember?
Oh my God!
So Kachi and Karen are twins.
Kachi and Karen.
And you remember you used to say Karen was the mean one. That's why.
Oh my God!
Karen was the mean one. I like when she gets mean. And Kachi was always laughing. But do not even think about hitting a ball to left field. Left field, because Kachi would catch it. So I, of course, was at third base. I would hit right down that line, but don't pop up because Kachi will get you out. Michael Leon Woolley is yelling
Hi.
Susie. Okay, great. And we have people going to visit Michael at Rue LaRue Cafe.
Good. Come in.
Come in. And they also have food, not just, I only talked about the desserts.
Yeah.
Michael, what are some of the I saw that clam chowder bowl.
Oh my gosh, the chowder is amazing. I had that for lunch today.
Did you? That's in the bread, right?
It comes in a bread bowl. I have carb face right now because of it,
No,
but it
you
was
don't.
worth it. It
Lost
was
weight
delicious.
since you started,
right?
And we do Sophia's 16-hour lasagna al forno. That's unbelievable.
What?
Al forno.
That means our quiche is really good.
Quiche is really good, yeah.
And I'm a big bacon fan. So we have this double cut bacon. Did you have it?
No, I have a quiche story though about my mother. This is a good one. So my brother John Richard, Giovanni Sacchi Hair Salon, you must go. Look it up. Giovanni's my brother. He's a vegetarian. So every Christmas.
I'm talking about bacon.
Yeah. We would have a quiche. And then my brother went vegetarian. So we had a bacon quiche.
That's it. He went
and then my mother said, well, then I'll never make quiche again.
That's it.
Because she couldn't figure out how to make a quiche.
She could have made a spinach cheese.
Yeah.
No, that was
That's
it.
She just
We never had
cake.
cake. So every Christmas morning, I'll be like, 2 hour candy.
So shout out to Barbara Campanero in
Hi,
Orlando.
Yeah.
She's in Orlando, right? All the Campaneros, we love them. And the singers, that's your sister.
Yeah.
And your brother-in-law and your beautiful nephew and niece. Let me tell you, these guys, I remember them from literally, they were in carriages and strollers. Now they're in college.
Now, my nephew is in grad school. He's going to be a scientist and find a cure for cancer.
He's also an amazing yoga.
Yeah, and he's an amazing artist. And then my niece is going to be a physician's assistant, and she just started as an RA. So she's like a maniac, amazing.
And we used to play softball with these guys. Amazing.
And Daddy's in heaven almost a year on August 20th.
Now, let's talk about our dads. Because I told my dad, my dad loves you.
I love him.
So my dad, Ricardo, loves Susie. He always says, "How's Campanero?" And Campanero always sends him pasta for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Send like this great.
I go to the Italian market and just get him just the pasta.
And you send it.
I love the mail. I love sending mail.
I know, me too.
I
We're
read
old-fashioned
letters.
like
I
that.
read
You
letters.
see,
Love
it's
it.
so
Yeah.
I
nice.
just sent Mama some candies
Why
for,
not?
you
It's
know,
still nice.
make her feel good.
Kids, listen, think about that. Actual real mail where you put a
Yeah.
stamp on something is wonderful.
It's beautiful.
I love getting
it
that.
means so much. It's like someone took the time. Sometimes this postage is more expensive than the gift. I don't care.
Sure.
Yeah, it
But
doesn't
if you want to
matter.
get to know someone, you write letters, because when people talk on the phone, they can sort of change what they're saying based on what your response is. But when you commit to paper, it's who you are.
Absolutely, and it's
My
you could save
fiance
that
writes me
forever.
letters all the
You save
time.
But see, that's one of the reasons you love him.
We write notes.
He's romantic. So our dads, if you held a picture of our dads side by side, they look like they could be brothers.
And my papa's Richard, and her
My
papa
dad's
is
Ricardo. So they
My
had the
dad's
same.
Richard too.
Is that true?
Oh, when's his birthday?
Dad's November 17th.
Oh, okay.
Oh, said Scorpio.
Scorpio.
That's still
No,
that's after.
No, that's Scorpio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Our
that's
dads
Scorpio.
are
You're a
Aquarius.
Scorpio, right? When's your birthday?
November 13th.
November
Oh, I thought
13th. Yeah,
it
that's
was by
Scorpio.
that.
My cousin Rita's a Scorpio. My grandpa was a Scorpio, and then his son,
I'm a
my
Scorpio.
Uncle Nick, was the next day. When's your birthday?
October 26th.
What? That's my brother's birthday.
Really?
That's
Oh,
my
my
parents'
brother.
anniversary.
Really?
This is crazy.
And that's my brother's birthday.
No.
October 26th.
That's
My
so cool.
sister's October 6th.
That's why we get along.
I'm telling you.
Do you know
all-
Susie
Oh, my
was the
brother's
first
my
person I met when I came to New York?
Is it?
No.
The day I moved to New York, I
Where
went to
did you meet?
45th Street, and there you were.
And I was just like,
Yeah. And we met and we talked, and I've loved you ever since.
Oh my
Oh,
God! What
yeah.
year was
You're
that,
the most
Michael?
honest person.
That would have been
I've ever met.
2000. Yeah, 2000.
Wow.
And my dad is coming here next month. He's 85 years old
Oh, God bless.
and
great.
still doing great. He just bought a new car the other day.
Good for him. What did he buy?
He bought a Hyundai, and my father, for his 80th birthday, I did a book of all of his new cars. When he turned 80, he had 50 new cars in his life.
Wow.
Now he's up to like 56. And he
Good
keeps
for
saying, this
him.
is my last car, and then he gets a new one.
Good
He's
for him.
hot.
That's
Yeah.
good.
He must be
Cars.
cute.
Yeah, I
Um,
bet he's really cute.
My dad's a very good-looking man, and so is my stepmother. They look great. Yeah.
That's
We'll have
good.
to meet them. We'll have
Oh,
to maybe
please do.
come by.
He still
come by
golfs
really
3 times a week. Like
See,
he's
that's it.
85, healthy. He never got heavy, though. He stayed lean.
Yeah, that's my dad too. My dad walks
yeah.
for miles.
So do my parents. They walk every day. for
Yep,
miles.
that's his thing.
My
He
dad
walks.
walked that dog.
Do you know that when we go to Costco, my
Walks
dad and I, because we love Costco and BJ's, I will be behind my dad and I have to tell him to slow down. I'm like,
Oh,
Dad,
yeah.
I can't wait for me.
My dad would be like, Barbara, come on,
Right.
Barbara.
I'm telling you.
Richard, I can't. I can't. Richard, just go. Just go, Richard. Barbara,
Isn't
come on,
that
Barbara.
amazing?
Mommy had a dream that she saw Daddy at the frozen food section.
I love it.
In the, I saw your father
Oh.
in the frozen food
Yeah.
section. He didn't see me. We were at the supermarket, and then he was sitting with people, and he didn't invite me. He was
Oh, yeah, but actually it's good. Tell her it's good she's not invited yet.
But she said also in a
Yeah,
dream he
indeed.
left her a note that said, "I'm waiting for you."
Isn't that beautiful?
That is
Oh, our
nice.
parents loved each other.
Oh, they were in love.
great friends. I mean, they were in love with each other, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Campaneros and the Gentilis used to talk on the phone a lot and
Oh.
send cards and all kinds of stuff. I want to just talk very quickly. We're like, that's about 6 minutes left. I usually try to throw a message out there at the end of the show. And my message this week, I want it to be, because of our dads. Dad, I hope you're listening. How our dads taught us about work ethic.
Oh, my God.
I taught my first job was working for my dad in his hair salon. I was just 9. I worked for my dad from when I was 9 to 14. And everything that I do today that is good work-wise, I learned from my dad.
Indeed.
Those, right?
Yeah.
You too?
Oh,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, my father was looking for work. He was 80 with a brain tumor, looking for work.
Still.
And my mother was like, "Richard, you don't have to work. Just relax." I gotta work.
I know. And my dad
gotta
just
work.
retired, like I think last year or the year before, maybe, and he's 81. So work ethic, you learn that from your parents. And this is just for these, a lot of, there's a lot of younger kids out there, and the best thing you can do is get a job when you're really young. You're going to learn great things. And as a parent, the best thing you can do is teach your children to earn what they have, because kids want to feel better. We teach kids. We know that kids like to earn things. They don't like things just given to them. Even though they'll tell you they want things given to them, they want to earn it. They feel good about it. I have these amazing students I teach in the Mayo Performing Arts Center now in Morristown. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had. Best boss I ever had. Kathy Royce Pease. She's great. I'm going to have her on. And our kids really they work so hard, and they really earn their stripes. And so I can't say enough about how great that is. And you learn that from your parents.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
My dad had us out shoveling snow, cutting grass,
Right.
taking care of the neighbors. And the one thing my father also taught me was philanthropy. We made money, but there were certain people in the neighborhood that he would not allow me to charge. There were certain elderly widows and certain people that were sick, and he made us go and take care of them. And I didn't understand it then. Now I do. Give back.
And my dad also, my dad was so non-judgmental, and he was, when he
I love your
got
dad.
sick, like the gardener came with, the gardener of the whole complex where my parents lived, came and stood at attention with his 3 sons and said, you don't know what your father or your husband has done for me and my family. Like, what could he have done? Like, but he was just nice. He would go to old Winnie, who lived around the bend, and he would like move her stuff for her, or he would, if this boy, he was sick in the hospital, and one day it was my nephew's age, and one day Daddy said, Mommy said Daddy just got up from the table and said, I have to go to the hospital. And he was there with the boy when he passed away.
Amazing.
Like, my dad was just of service.
Your dad was a great guy.
Friendship, though, this takes us back to thank you for being a friend. That's so important.
Yeah, he was of service.
Absolutely. And
Try to be like of service to your friends and to be there. Like,
that's what a real friend is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you show up. Like,
and Rue was like that. She was friends with everyone. I remember she was friends with Parker Posey. You know Parker Posey?
I like Parker
A couple
Posey.
different generations, and they loved each other.
Isn't that great? I can see that, though.
Yeah.
I can see that because they're both young souls. Rue is a young soul.
Oh, she was a little girl.
She
Her
really
house was full
was.
of toys and dolls and stuff. I used to catch her playing with them all the time. She said
Oh,
it was in case anyone came with kids.
and my friend Paul Anderson, who no longer
Oh
lives
my
in New
God, I
York,
love
was her
Paul.
driver, and
Really?
my fam, and he was my personal friend, but he would drive my family. Paul and Rue loved each other because Paul is just this amazing guy who just talks, and they would
Oh yeah,
talk.
I threw a 75th surprise birthday party for him. Paul and his brother came.
Yeah,
His brother, and we played games the whole time. The whole game.
Right.
It was
So
fun.
it's amazing.
We love
Now,
Rue.
we have 2 minutes left for our show. So here's what I want to say. Also, another common denominator we all have is Jay Bradley, who was a friend.
my
He was
God.
Rue's musical director.
She adored him.
And he adored her. And every Christmas we would go to Jay Bradley's
Oh my
Christmas
gosh.
show, and Rue would do one of those shows. That show always sold out first.
The 12 Days of Christmas
The
they did once. It
12
was
days.
hilarious.
Hilarious. So
He
Rue-
had like a heart, like
and
a
we
little
love
cherub.
Jay Bradley's up in heaven too, and I know they're together.
Oh,
And he was
absolutely.
amazing.
Creating. They're
Singing,
creating.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it's work to create.
I want to give a shout out to Joe Savino. Joe Savino,
Hi, Joe.
and he's one of our producers. Real cool guy. And he also said, "Hey, can I get on the list at Rularoo?
Come in.
Joe, you come to town, and I'm gonna show you around, and we're gonna go and visit. We're going to
That's
go
the
and
place to
visit
go.
Rularoo.
Get
Also,
the Betty White cake. It's amazing.
shout out to my cousin Joyce's hair salon, 132
Hi,
Ferry
Joyce.
Street, Everett, Mass. We love you, Joyce and Gina. 2 hotties. I have a lot of really good-looking cousins there.
I know. I've seen
Joe,
pictures.
you're really hot too. Joe's like the hottest. But anyway, we're winding down. We have a minute left. I want to thank my beautiful, beautiful guests,
Oh,
my
thank
friend Susan
you,
Campanero.
Maria.
You have to come back on because we have
Anytime.
so many stories. Michael, you have to come back on.
Absolutely.
Please go. It's so easy to get to the 1 train or the 8 train.
Why don't you come do a podcast from the cafe?
You know what? I talked to Joe
Yeah.
when I was first talking about doing the show, and I said, Joe, could I broadcast live? He's like, of course.
Yeah, come
So
to the
we
cafe
have to
and
do
it.
that. We'll do a show from once I can get my computers.
And I should get my Golden Girls crew.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'll be
my God.
And
Sophia.
Lou's piano's there. We have a stage with the sound.
And we'll
mics,
get
so you
Lynn
can
maybe to
sing.
play.
That would be fun. Oh my
Thank
God!
you
can
for
sing.
being a
Maria's got
friend.
the best voice in the world.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Miami.
All right, so Jimmy
Miami.
is telling us
That's our song.
we're ready to sign off, right?
Miami.
Jimmy, how we doing? Yep, we might have already signed off, but we're on the
bye.
Facebook Live. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Listen
you.
to us in podcast on Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. Just type in "What's the Story with Maria," and you'll see this episode will come up. It's 8/15/17. That's our date. It goes by date. We thank our guest, Michael Raymer. Is that how you say your last name, honey? Is going to be one of our guests within the month, I believe. I'm going to have
And
you
he's
on.
my fiance.
And he is an amazing photographer and filmmaker and all kinds of things. And now he's working on the show Instinct. So
Amazing.
shout out to Judy Mesa and Catherine Salvio. They are going to be on next week. I cannot wait on our Ode to Mother show. And we love you guys. Thank you so
Maria
much.
Gentile.
Thank you for being a
And
friend.
that's it. Thank you for being a
Thank you
friend.